Hello everyone, I'm Rupali Meshram. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for my latest updates. Good morning students. Today we are going to see Standard 8 Civics, Chapter number 3, the Union Executive. In the last chapter, we learn about the Union Legislature, which included the structure and functioning of the Parliament. In this chapter, we are going to study the Union Executive. Structure of the Union Government. The Union Government means the central government. The Union Government is made up of the following constituents. Union Government, President, Under President, two different branches, legislature and executive works. Under legislature, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha works. Under executive, Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. You know that the legislature, executive and judiciary are the three organs of the state and that they work for the welfare of the people. In a parliamentary system, the executive is part of the legislature and is responsible to the legislature. When we learn about the executive, it is important for us to understand who are included in executive, what are the constitutional provisions relating to executive, and what is the process of policy making for public welfare. India's Union Executive comprises of the President, Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. President. According to the provisions in the Constitution of India, the President is the supreme head of the state. The office of the President has the highest honor and prestige, and it represents the Republic of India. All executive powers of the state are vested in the President by the Constitution. The government carries out its functions in the name of the President. However, in reality, the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers run the government. Therefore, the President is the nominal and constitutional head, whereas the Prime Minister is the executive head. Election of the President. The President is indirectly elected by the people of India. The common people do not vote in the election of the President. He is elected by directly elected representatives of the central and state legislatures. The group of these parliamentarians and members of the state legislatures is known as the Electoral College. The tenure of the President is 5 years. The person contesting the presidential elections should be an Indian citizen whose age should be at least 35 years. The person elected to the position of the President has to take an oath while accepting the post. According to the oath, the President bears the responsibility of protecting the Constitution and ensuring that the government runs as per the Constitution. The President governs in accordance with the advice given by President, Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. The responsibility of protecting the Constitution is shouldered by the President. But if any act of President violates the Constitution, then the Parliament has the authority to remove the President. This process is known as process of impeachment. Any one house can lay the charge of violation of the Constitution and the investigation of the charge is carried out by the other house. The resolution has to be passed by special 2/3 majority of both the House of Parliament. Powers and functions of the President. The Constitution has entrusted several powers and functions to the President. A few functions are enumerated as follows. The President summons the meetings of Parliament, prorogue the session of Parliament, sends messages to both houses, dissolves the Parliament after the tenure is over or even before the tenure gets over. Bill passed by the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha must be signed by the President. Without his signature, the bill cannot become a law. President appoints the Prime Minister and other ministers. on the recommendation of Prime Minister. The President appoints the judges of the Supreme Court and the High Courts. The President also appoints the governors of state, Chief Election Commissioner and other important officers. The President is the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Decisions regarding war and peace are made by the President. The President has some judicial powers too. For instance, the President has the power to reduce the punishment, grant a respite or commute a sentence of a person, or in special circumstances grant pardons or reprieves on humanitarian grounds. President has the power to declare emergency in case of a crisis situation arising in the country. There are three kinds of emergencies mentioned in the Constitution. First, national emergency. Second, state emergency. Third, financial emergency. In the absence of the President, his functions are carried out by the Vice President. The Vice President is elected by members of both the houses. Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. The President is the constitutional head. However, in reality, his powers are nominal and the Prime Minister along with his Council of Ministers is responsible for the administration. We will now see the role and functions of Prime Minister. The party which attains a majority in elections nominates the leaders as the Prime Minister. The Council of Ministers is then formed of trustworthy colleagues from within the party. The Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers must be members of the Parliament. In case they are not members, they are required to get elected to the Parliament within 6 months of their appointment. The government in reality is run by the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. This means that the real executive powers are vested in the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Functions of Prime Minister. The foremost task of the Prime Minister is to form his Council of Ministers. While doing this, the Prime Minister gives priority to trustworthy colleagues while considering their administrative experience, governance skills, efficiency, and technical expertise. After deciding upon the members of the Council of Ministers, the Prime Minister allocates portfolios to them. The Prime Minister leads to Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister chairs all the meetings of the Council of Ministers. After allocation of portfolios, the Prime Minister has to maintain coordination in the working of various departments, facilitate cooperation amongst the departments, supervise the working of these departments in order to maintain efficiency, etc. The Prime Minister also has various other responsibilities such as to raise the image of the country in the international arena and work towards the achieving a favorable opinion globally, to develop trust among people and to provide strong support to people who are victims of any disaster, etc. Functions of Council of Ministers. In a parliamentary form of government, the Council of Ministers takes initiative in the process of lawmaking. The scheme, policy, plans, etc. are drafted and discussed and then introduced in the House. The Council of Ministers discuss important questions before making a decision. Education, agriculture, industry, health, foreign relations, among others, are subjects upon which the Council of Ministers has to decide specific policies or direction of work. The Parliament needs to be taken into confidence about the policy decisions taken by the government. Therefore, the ministers of respective departments lay their policy plans in the House to bring about a discussion on it. Implementation of policy is the foremost responsibility of the Council of Ministers. Once the Parliament approves the laws, the Council of Ministers implements them. How does the parliament keep a check over the executive? In a parliamentary system of government, the legislature tries to keep control over the executive, that is, the Council of Ministers. The country is exercised in lawmaking or policy-making process, implementation of policies, and even after that, a few ways of exercising control are discussions and debates. Debate and discussions among the members of the houses are an integral part of the lawmaking process. These debates and discussions help the members to scrutinize the policy proposals and laws and point out the shortcomings. These discussions are essential for creation of healthy laws. Question hour. During parliamentary session, the proceeding of the House begins with question asked by the members of the House. The concerned ministers are supposed to give satisfactory answers to these questions. Question hour is one of the more effective ways of keeping a check over the Council of Ministers. During question hour, members criticize the government and ask questions on various issues. Sometimes, when a member is not satisfied with the answer of the minister, arguments take place. Occasionally, members walk out of the office or enter into the well of the house and give slogans to record their protest. 0 hour. During the parliamentary session, the period around 12 noon is called 0 hour. During this period, any questions of public importance can be raised and discussed. No confidence motion. This is one of the most effective ways to keep a check on the Council of Ministers. The government stays in power till it enjoys the support of majority in Lok Sabha. The members of parliament withdraw the support, it may lead to loss of majority and the government cannot stay in power. The members of the House can move a no confidence motion by simply expressing, "We do not have confidence in the government." If the motion is passed with majority support, then the Council of Ministers has to resign. There is an extensive bureaucracy that works under the executive. We will study this bureaucracy in the 6th chapter.